One. Hello, hello.
Hi.
How
Happy
are you on this Sunday?
we're shifting.
We're shifting
Sunday shift. Um
in a day.
the day. It's actually a lovely day in Northern California or Bay Area, California.
Okay.
The weather is beautiful. Um and chill. And I like it. I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to spring summer. I'm not looking forward to heat,
No.
but I'm looking forward to the fact that we're having a summer and we're not in a drought because
Hmm.
the rain was plentiful. So I
Truth.
appreciate that. Um, yeah.
I'm definitely not going through this summer without a portable AC.
I have one of those menopause ACs that are around your neck and
Uh,
you go and the air hits your face in your neck for when you have the hot flashes. I have two of them. I have one for the office and then one here. And right, even like it's not even like too hot, but for some reason it's like warm in my space. Yeah, I'm still wearing a sweatshirt, but I still like it's weird. But I have the fans on.
I have a fan going too. We both were like, "Can you hear my fan? Can you hear my fan?" So if y'all can hear our fans, it's just even more intimate.
Yeah, you guys get to an intimate insight into our lives.
Right, right, right. How was
um,
your week?
it was a week, but you know what? I ended the week well. So we celebrated Earth Day in Oakland, and
Shout out to Victor Cassadine.
I didn't realize how timely that was. So we went to like three different sites and I did some back-breaking work and hand-breaking work. You know those little things that they use to pick up the little pieces of
Hmm.
trash?
Hmm.
That thing works out your hand muscles and it's like crazy. And I had to like switch hands. I'm like, am I that weak in my hands? And no, because somebody else was doing the same thing. And we were like talking about how we're slightly ambidextrous so we can do it. But
Hmm.
at one point, I was just like, look, I had gloves on. I was like, let me just pick this stuff up because it's very time consuming just to use that thing when I can just use my hand and grab like a bunch of trash.
Right.
So did that and went with my boss, who, as an elected official, is talked to by everybody, and everybody just wants to have a conversation with her. And I'm trying to get her to actually do some work. And people are just like, "Oh, and Councilmember Fife, I gotta talk to you about this, and I gotta talk to you about that." And I was like, "Ugh, forget it." So I
I love your boss. And I had gone to like a canvas day like a year or so ago, and she had come through and gave a speech, and it was the same thing because I was like trying to catch up with her because I knew her before she was elected, and so just like talking, and we couldn't. I was like, I'll just see you later.
no, because everybody wants to
Love
meet
her.
her. It's interesting, and so but I cleaned up and it was great, and I came away with just positive feelings about Oakland and all the people that fight for Oakland. And Oakland got some bad news this week for sports fans. A's
Yeah.
decided that they wanted to move to Vegas, so a lot of people are disappointed and dejected, and there's just a lot of negative energy happening yesterday after I, finished doing this wonderful cleaning activity. And so I just wanted to post some positivity on my page, on my social media page, talking about how much I love Oakland and how I continue to serve Oakland, because I will never forget that it was Oakland residents that helped me in my most desperate times of need when I was younger, and I will never ever forget it. And so that's why I continue to do the work that I do, even though it's hard and people complain and sometimes people are hecka negative. But I can't help it. I like the city, even though if people feel like it's falling apart, I love it, and I'm gonna continue to work to make it better as much as I can. That's all I can say.
It's so interesting because the way I met you was on Twitter because you used to live tweet the city council meetings. And so
Yeah.
I had kind of moved out here and sometimes was asked to go like present numbers and of our campaigns and stuff in front of city council. And then like the ones I would go to, I'd be like, oh, Tanya's like tweeting about it. And then you happen to also be tweeting about General Hospital. So it's like the podcast, I was like, Tanya, do you want to do this? So it's like, it's like this two sides of social media. Um, because I think that like it's a really good thing. It can be a thing that really connects us, but it can also be this thing that can get really toxic.
Yes, very toxic. Like even as I had posted my post about how I love Oakland, there's somebody who was just like, you're just doing a victory lap because the A's ain't coming and you don't want economic I was like, you interpreted my one little I love Oakland into something negative
Something
and
that had nothing to do with it. Like,
nothing
come
to do
on.
with it. So I'm hoping that, we as a society, as great as it is to be able to connect with people on the internet and have great conversations either about soap operas or about politics, let's just not forget our humanity.
Ooh,
It's so I mean, oh man, it's so important.
that's so real. I was like trying to figure out if we would talk about this on the show or not, but I think we'll just do it. So, like,
Mhm.
the thing that's so funny about the way we kind of came together is like, okay, we're gonna do this podcast. We had no idea. We are like, maybe one person will listen to it, maybe 50 people. It'll be fun. We like talking about the show. We both like to, and then Sandra as well. We all like to like break things down and like bring our personal lives into it while we're talking about the show and the stories. And then like I feel like we were just like really welcomed at the beginning of Soap Twitter with like open arms because there were people who also wanted to talk about the show in that way. Um, and I think that we are very positive people. And like, there are some people who are like toxic positive, and I feel like we are not those people. Like we genuinely enjoy each other. We enjoy the show even when we don't, and we enjoy talking about it. Um, and then, on sub Twitter, there was like a flip. And I was like, ugh, this is not for me. Because like for me, like we're actually real people. Just like you started the show talking about um your like what you're doing in Oakland, and like we've never like our faces have always been out there. Sometimes I actually wish that I would have started like a Tracey at Sunday Shift like Twitter account. So it wouldn't have been like with my personal Twitter. Um, because I use that for work and I actually have like a following there. And I can't be, I just remember there was some stuff that went down. This is a while ago. And I was like defending myself from like soap Twitter on like my personal. And I've actually been doxxed. I've actually been threatened by the right wing. I've actually had people like try to look up where I live. Um, and I was like, defending myself, and my boss had no idea. And he was like, my boss at the time, rather, and he was like, "Are you okay? Like, what's going on?" And it was like really embarrassing to have to tell him, "Oh, this was just a soap opera thing." So that's like one of the reasons I stopped actually posting about the soap, like posting about GH on my personal Twitter, because it was like I wasn't even trying to be negative to anyone because it's like actually just not who I am. I'm actually a very sensitive like person, you know what I'm saying? And um I'm a Libra, if you will. So I don't like to be in drama. I don't like to be, I don't like to see people with their feelings hurt. When I'm an empathetic person, so when people do have their feelings hurt, I feel like I can feel it. So that's just not who I am. Um, but this week, it was like kind of revealed that one of the more toxic people on the app was like not who they said they were. And it was interesting because, I think so 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 Twitter and social media in itself is like whatever it is. And so there became like this whole thing about like, I'm actually a real person. I'm posting my picture. I don't actually think you have to post your picture for fandom. Like, if you love Elizabeth Weber, you can have an Avi of Elizabeth Weber. If you love Sam McCall, have an Avi of Sam McCall and talk about the things that you like. I
Mhm.
think what the problem was with this particular individual was that they were like using someone else's life, using pictures of someone else's kids, and then targeting real people.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So it was like, if you're a person who's just like, I love Sam, I'm gonna post about Sam and I'm gonna post my opinions up. And if you and I disagree on characters, then we can disagree on characters and we can go back and forth. But when you pull people's personal lives into it, when you pull like they were actually she's never been on this podcast, but I'm friends with her, and we've done stuff together, like spaces and stuff. Um, this girl named Susie. And Susie's always been just like a firecracker online. And there turned out to be some Mandela effect where people said that she had like said something to Frank, the producer of the show, that she didn't say.
Mm.
But everybody, including this account, was like promoting this like thing that she did. And this account that turned out to be fake was like one of the loudest people doing it. So Susie's actually a real person. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? And people were like targeting her as a real person, not her soap opinions, but who she was as a person. And the person, one of the people who was like spearheading that was like lying about who they were.
They were, which is
And so
interesting.
yeah, like that's the thing for me. It's like, and so yeah, like the whole thing, and then like also there's like this whole narrative around like, well, if you're friends with Susie, then you're a bad person or you condone. And I'm like, I'm actually not gonna get into that. And some of it is like I have to find the balance of like being a good friend to her and like defending her, and then also still not bringing the account where people like look to me for like to be a voice on issues
In the
like
middle of
in the
it.
middle of that, which is
Right.
why I was saying I wish that sometimes I wish I would have started like a soap Twitter or like specific account because then I would feel comfortable saying whatever.
Yeah.
But people like have like leveraged like my personal politics. They've heard about it from my account or from the show to like talk poorly about me because of who I like on the show. I'm like, why are we beefing about fake people and bringing real people into it? That's silly.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, I think, the last thing I'll say about this, I think that you probably just didn't even know what happened because you're not online as much. That the account has closed out since then, but they
Mhm.
have been online for months. I specifically remember the first time I had seen them online because it was like what I particularly remember about them was that they were like kind of crass. And so I was like, I'm an auntie now. So I'm like, I don't know. So
Um,
when it came to Sprina, like I was like, when they gonna kiss? But like I wasn't trying. I was like, I remember even telling you and Sandra, like, whenever they do more than that, I'm gonna close my eyes because they're my babies. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not that old, but I was acting real old when it came to them. And so like everybody was like, when are they gonna kiss? When are they gonna kiss? And it was like, when they gone, bang. I was like, whoa. Like
yeah.
that's how I had like
Some
that's
of
how
that, like I've seen some of that on Twitter, and I'm just
yeah.
like, these are kids. But in a sense that they're not, and I don't know the age of all of the audience. Like some of the people in the audience could be their age, and
Yeah,
so if
of course,
that's
of
what
course.
they're thinking about, and they're adults in their mind, then that's different. But we're old. Like, well, I'm old.
I'm old. I'm an auntie. I can't be doing this.
Right.
But I remember that was like the first kind of stuff I would see about that account. And
Mhm.
then it would be like bringing attention to like troll accounts that would have like one or two followers who were like saying negative things about Tabiana or whatever. And so now I'm looking like, well, damn, was that actually you? Because that account was able to like gain credibility because they were supposedly defending Tatiana. You know what I'm saying? So like it was actually to their benefit that there were like trolls. You know what I mean? But they also like were built out a whole family that they had and like shared all this stuff and shared a picture of a baby that wasn't theirs and all of that. And that's like to leverage people into believing they know you. So like if I feel like I know you and you become toxic, so like what they would do is like be super toxic and say really hateful things and they'd be like, look at my daughter. You know what I mean? And so like it was like this
Yeah,
balance of people being like, oh well, you couldn't be that bad because I actually know you because I know your family, I know your
right.
kids.
And your
And people who
mom.
catfish, yeah, your mom, your that was the thing. So I was like watching a little bit of it go down because I was helping someone do like a Twitter town hall during the whole time. So I'm like, wait, I'm like toggling between this account I'm helping run and then my account. And I was like, wait, what's going on? Like, what's happening? And so, but it was like I was like watching it go down, and it was like so first like this other account that kind of exposed
Mhm.
um the person as being like a catfish was like like drop some stuff, and then the account that was exposed was like that like somebody is like stealing my personal information and da-da-da-da. And they probably were panicking because they've
Right.
been in this persona for like 16 to 17 hours a day. You know what I mean? Like this person was like,
Well, I mean, they're like they were that active on that account, like daily.
yes, yes, daily. Had said that they had a baby. So this is like, look, I'm like, I ain't throwing the gossip, but you ain't heard this from me. But I kind of knew the account was fake for a while, but you know, I had no proof and like who was I? And I was trying to get in it. But they had dropped these pictures of like a baby that they said they had last month, and the baby was huge. And I was like, what?
Kind of like on General Hospital.
Kind of like, oh, General Hospital. I was like,
Were
um,
they one of the people that complained about the big babies on General Hospital too?
probably. I mean, I don't know because I had the account muted,
Right. Oh,
and
okay.
unfollowed and all of that. And so, but I had followed them before and I had been in conversation with them before because I don't know where they actually are, but they had said they were in Florida. So during the hurricanes, I knew people in Florida who were like doing water and all of that. And so I had like reached out via DM to be like, hey, like I have people down there. Like if you need anything, please let me know. You know, I know an organization that's doing like water and generators. I can like call on your behalf and connect. And they were like, no, I'm good. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, but it was like, you know, anyway, I it was just like a really interesting time, and I think that, like I said, I don't think that anyone has to show their picture to be a fan at all. I think that that's like a silly, like a silly thing that anyone would try to require. I don't think anyone's trying to require it, but nobody has to show their picture. People can get really toxic on the space, and people like talk about people's looks. Like, I mean, we can't hide who we are because we do this on video, but you know, I totally understand not wanting to be public for people to like tear you apart. I get that. I mean, I think that we both are public in our roles for work, so it like is a little different for us. Um, but I totally get people not wanting to be public in that way. Um, but I just think that it's time to like, I don't know, think through who you let in your circles and like if someone is like somewhere just to cause discord and chaos, like I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, I talked for a long time. What do you think about all of this?
I think yeah, I it's weird because I am not as involved on the social media tip and so Twitter.
Mhm,
And so I saw a couple of, I think I was a follower of the account simply because I assumed that they were on the up and up.
mhm,
And they seemed nice, but then I didn't know. Again, I would pop in and look at things and look at tweets and then pop right back out. So I wasn't in it on a 24/7 basis, or it sounds like she or this person was. And but then I also, heard a little bit about the whole, attack on your friend Susie, and then hearing from you what happened. And then I've also seen some of the just kind of mean spirited stuff a little bit. But I tend to not engage in negativity on social media just because it seems like if they're a troll and their whole purpose is to cause arguments, that's not something that I want to spend my time in
Mhm.
doing, because I
Right.
could be watching Star Wars or um or
Right.
watching fun things. And I used to, when I was younger, engage in debates all the time, whether it was political or about the soaps. I think we were like ABC used to hold their chat, their
Mhm.
stuff, and I used to be all up on there. But yeah, now it's like I tend to want to focus on something else. And so my opinion is for someone to do all that and have it be fake is really kind of weird. I don't want that
Scary a little bit,
like
actually.
scary, yeah. And then makes me wonder what their the goal was, the end goal, you know?
Mhm.
Like, were they part of the whole Sprina Nation fan base? Like, were they
Yeah.
raising money and doing all this stuff for Tabiana and
Mhm.
Nicholas? And so were, a lot of times fans do that because they, eventually want to meet the fan, and so, or meet the star. Did they ever think about wanting to meet the star? Or were they just doing all this stuff?
Well, I don't know. I don't know who they are. I don't know if they actually were somebody like I don't really know. I will say that Spirit Nation is like formed a little bit differently than I've seen other fan bases. Like they like say they have a board and like this is kind of the stuff they put out publicly. And so part of the reason that like even when we post like this person was so toxic when it came to Sprina, and not everybody is like that. There are like
Mhm.
fans who just enjoy the couple because
Mhm.
they're at a couple to enjoy. They're like young adults, like sweet, romantic. We've always spoken very highly of Sprina,
Right.
always. Like we've never. The only time that we've ever said anything about them has never been negative about Tabiana or Nicholas. It's been like about not really appreciating some of the writing or whatever around them. But we've never like we've started the podcast speaking highly of that couple. Um,
Mhm.
but
Well, I
because of some of the stuff that I had seen, we were not part of like that,
yeah.
whatever. So they were a person who was like identified as like a board member.
I mean, that's just thing is that these fandoms are so important to the actors. Like
Hmm.
they get a lot of inspiration and confidence in their work because the fans do so much for them. And so
Hmm.
I'm hoping that the shenanigans of this person does not detract from that. I mean, Tabiana and Nicholas really enjoy their fans, and I hope that they can continue to do so. And I think Sprina Nation has done some really nice things for them. And I kind of admire that. Even if I'm not actively participating in something like that, I do admire the people who go all out to make sure that, the stars feel their love. And so I hope that, Sprina Nation continues to be able to do that without this person in the mix, because it's important. I know the being an actor and a young black actress is super daunting, and they need all the, like Tabiana needs all the support she can get. So
Right.
so hope that they can continue to do that work despite all the drama that happened.
Hmm. For sure. I mean, I know we have all watched, I mean, especially us being part of like Star Wars fandom and stuff like that. We see how Black actresses are treated all the time. And
Yeah.
so it's always been really cool to see Tabiana uplifted by anyone who will.
Hmm.
But I will say that that other account was like doing stuff like pitting Tabiana and Eden against each other. And like, it
Oh
was
yeah,
for what?
that's
These
not.
are like they're not the same lane. Like Tabiana is beloved. She's getting magazine covers. Like it is not. So like people will be like, oh well, people are defending Eden, but what about Tabiana? And it's like it's not even acceptable in the fandom at large to dislike to like say anything negative about Tabiana. You said something negative about Tabiana, you getting checked. Period. And I actually like that. You should like this is a young black actress who has protection. There's no reason to pit her against other actresses or other folks. And so I just hope, after this, folks really take a look at like the behavior, um Yeah, I mean all of it. I just really hope people take a look and also like just try to be more kind to each other. Like I am genuinely like a positive person. And so when I see negativity, I back up and leave. It's one of the reasons I don't even tweet from Sunday Shift anymore.
Mhm.
Like every once in a while, like if there's like a big anniversary of a character that we collectively like. But other than that, I just drop the show and I'm off for the rest of the week. Because it was no longer fun. When we
Mhm.
first started, it did feel fun and it did feel like a collective and a fandom, and I actually have made real friends from it. Um, but it's it's if some place brings you less peace than more peace, and it's a fandom, there's
Mhm.
no reason for me to still be a part of it.
Right. Yeah, you got to protect your peace.
Period. All right,
Whatever.
well, let's actually talk about the show, huh?
Okay. Let's do that.
I have a very, very sparse um recap. Again, as folks know, I always say when my recaps are sparse, go to Soap Central and get that from there. Um, so here we go. Robert is mad at Sunny for getting involved in the Victor Cassadine investigation. He somehow manages to insult Diane, and then somehow this leads to a Robert and Diane kiss. Sure. With the help of BLQ, Blaze, and Dante, Chase is a cop again. Uh, Gregory goes to see Alexis to help her with the story of her family and mansplain. And then we find out he has ALS, which I'm sure you know I will have more to say about.
Okay.
Um, you already know. Holly and Felicia are in Venezuela, and they end up in an auction for Ethan, who is now blonde. Tracey Angelica Quartermain shows up to buy him as well. And you have to ask yourself, damn, they got Victor out here selling people. What? Um, anyway, um, uh, Ethan, Holly, and Felicia fight off the bad guys while Tracey stands there and looks like a baddie, and then run off. Uh, Curtis and Drew look through Drew's old things and find out there's information about where the haunted star might be, which makes no sense, but we rocking with it. Um, the Pikeman shipment is still a go. Sunny has Dex drop off paperwork to Christina for a youth house slash soup kitchen, making Dex fall deeper in love with Sunny, like everyone before him. I can't even. Okay. I'm just clearly in a silly mood. Anyway, sorry, y'all. The Miller wedding is on. Michael invites Sunny, but no Nina. He was like, you can come.
You.
Okay, let me tell you again, you can come. Um, Carly has words with Ava and Nina, and Nina is upset and thinks it's time for Carly to have some consequences. Other things that happen, Ned upset with Valentine about ELQ. Um, Cody tells Sasha that Gladys might be shady. Sam is on to Gladys. Mm, love to see that. Portia and Ava talk. And while Sprina is making it the love boat, Portia is worried that her baby is somewhere hurt. She's not hurt, Portia. She's
She's
not
fine.
hurt.
Fine.
That's fine. And that's the end of my recap. How did you feel? What was your favorite moment? How did you feel about the week? Tell me everything.
I thought the week was okay. Um, I was a little swept. I was
Okay.
a little, Swiffer duster swept, and yeah, especially around the Sprina caper and the scenes between the three blondes and um Yeah, that's pretty much those were the standouts for me.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, but I thought it was a pretty good week. I again had to binge watch because I had a lot going on at work.
Mhm.
And so I didn't have time to watch during the week. So um yeah, so it's not like I had one of those, well, this day is boring. Even though some of the episodes were boring, it wasn't like as much of a disappointment. When you binge watch it, it's not as much of a disappointment that some days are boring. It's
Right. You
more of
look.
a, okay, just
Yeah.
fast
Yeah.
forward. And then just move on.
Yeah.
So it was an okay week. I still love the fact that, this adventure with Victor and Sprina is going on so long.
Mm.
Mainly because there was actually only one day, maybe, right? 2 days.
Two. Yeah. Two.
Yeah, 2 days of it. But I'm glad that they're not kind of rushing through it and having it all week, because that gives us just some, time to enjoy the Sprina scenes, which I am enjoying.
Ooh, I love to talk more about that. I loved the Mora Laura scenes. Mora Laura.
Mhm.
Um, it just reminds you of how the show can be great when we bring on history.
Mhm.
These women, powerhouses. And I think that, Laura Wright is such a steady, like quiet in the storm kind of actress. You know what I mean? And so she never turns in a bad scene. And so sometimes I think she gets like kind of looked over when it comes to like performers of the week or whatever, because she actually is just like so solid. Um, and I love when she's with Mora because it's so clear that these actresses just take each other to the next level. Um, I thought it was so good. It was such a use of history. You think about Morgan? It was like, oh, we go in there. Like it was just, and then Mora was wiping her eyes, Laura was wiping her eyes. And then at the end of the scene, it was like, I gotta go check on Trina. And Carly was like, go, go. It was like this understanding that, girl, I don't like you. I'm never gonna like you, but somehow we became family and we got each other and we're just gonna do it. And I thought it was so good. They were just so good together.
Oh yeah, these were definitely my performers of the week. Actually, and we side eye Nina as a character all the time, but I have to give it up to Cynthia
This is
Watson.
her thing this week. Yeah.
Yeah, because she did her thing as well. I mean, back to Maura Laura. I gotta love that LauraMaura. We should hashtag that because that's just so amazing. They, like you said, it was just so powerful. I mean, they brought in, like, she brought in the Morgan thing, and Laura, I mean, Carly reminded Ava about why she should not be friends with Nina. She's like, she kidnapped you and drugged you and stole your baby for Avery. Like,
Yeah.
how can you forgive that? And then Ava was like, I don't forget it.
Woo.
That's the first time that I really felt like I got a satisfactory explanation of how that is.
Yep.
Like, because it just seemed like Nina and Ava were just being friends, and like their history never happened. But
Mhm.
Carly really confronted Ava on that, and we finally see that Ava never forgets. But like Carly never forgets either, and she will bring up Morgan till the day she dies. And I don't understand why Ava doesn't have that same energy for Nina. I'm still a little confused on that, but bygones, I guess, because they have the common enemy of Carly, so I guess that's how they bond. But
But also like if you remember, Nina was the person who realized that Ava was getting gaslit by Nicholas. So
oh,
she
that's
was the
right.
person who made sure that Ava got like taken out of which I don't know. I don't think she was in Shady Brook, wherever she was at. When she was
Right.
like, getting drugged up and thought she was like losing her mind, like Nina was the
Okay.
person who realized that she wasn't. And so while like all the stuff that Nina did, I appreciated that she was like, actually, I don't forget that,
Mhm.
but I appreciated that because it is like, yeah, that does make hating Carly and that other thing would bond you.
On
So yeah, you're right. It was the first time we got like a real, like, it wasn't like we're just friends, who cares? It's like, no,
yeah,
I haven't forgotten.
I haven't forgotten that. But
Mm,
and then at the same time, we know all the things that Ava has done, but Carly doesn't know everything, especially in terms of Nicholas.
mhm.
And so that's what made it more poignant to me that Ava's trying to broker peace because she knows all the things she's done that she's is just as unforgivable as what Nina has done. And so she's just trying to, like, even though she's still doing bad things, she's trying to be a better person, which is why I don't necessarily hate her as much as I hate Nina.
Yeah.
so, so that's what made it, more poignant to me. So that yeah, those scenes were super powerful and they were definitely on my, performances of the week. Now, Cynthia Watros, the day that scene where Michael goes in and invites Sunny to the wedding and then she comes upon, like, I forgot my purse. Oh my god, I felt bad
Yeah.
for her.
I mean, I didn't, but I get you.
I mean, shut
It was, I mean, Cynthia did
but
the thing.
here's the caveat. I felt bad for her up until she goes and talks to Ava and runs into Carly. Then she gets on her rant with Carly, like everything is Carly's fault. Like the fact that Willow is dying is Carly's fault. The fact that she doesn't get along with her daughter is Carly's fault. Everything is Carly's fault. And she's like, okay, I get it. I'm a bad person, but it's still your fault. I'm just like, it's not her fault. Willow doesn't like you because of all the things you've done to her. And you need to get over that.
Mhm.
And I hate that she still blames Carly for everything. But I still think Cynthia Watros did a great job of still
She did her thing. She did
making me
her thing.
hate her, making me feel sorry for her on one day, but still continuing back to the hating her. They were, yeah, it was all three of them get kudos for me.
Yeah. I think that Cynthia, the scene that I really thought she did really well in was the one with Michael and Sunny, when she was like, you could just like hear her voice shake, you
Right.
kind of feel like the regret and the pain. I thought that was like so well, like it was, she did that so well.
Oh,
uh,
for me, it was when Carly was, well, you need to remember that I didn't tell Willow because Willow told me
oh, that was rough.
she did not want a mom like you. Like the look on her face, like Cynthia Watcher stayed stoic in her face, but you can see the hurt in her eyes and at the water and the tears in her eyes. And she was doing everything that she could not to let those tears fall. But
Hmm.
I just saw the pain of that one sentence.
Hmm.
So that's like great, like on Friends, you're like, there's acting and there's reacting. But she did like such a great job with that. It was so amazing.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
was what I liked about Laura and like the way she played, the way Carly was played,
Uh-huh.
was the calmness. It
Yeah,
was like the anger underneath the calm. It
right.
was like matter of fact. I don't fuck with you. You know what I mean? It wasn't like I don't have to raise my voice at you. I don't have to do all of that, because that has been the way Carly, I think, has been played in the past, where it's been like
Oh yeah,
very like,
Carly would be in your face back.
yeah. And this is like, actually, I'm a grandmother now.
I'm a grown ass woman
Working
now.
on myself. My last name is Spencer now.
Yes.
you know, and so she, and like being able to like make it almost more savage,
Mhm.
like as a calm person, was just like, ooh, okay.
Savage. I mean, everything, every part of that interaction was savage, down to the, I'm here to watch Avery. And Cynthia and was like, well, you can go now. And Laura was like, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
No, I'm not gonna go. No.
Um, I I do want to dive more into these scenes. I do want to say that I think that all three of these actresses will use this on their next Emmy reel.
That's what I was hoping. I was like, they need to use these scenes in their Emmy for
It
real.
was really good, and it was like one of those things that are not traditional Emmy bait, but like they were Emmy bait, you
Oh,
know. Um, I have so much to say about those scenes. Let's keep moving. Let's keep moving.
um, I think I gave my favorite performance, but I didn't give my favorite moments. All of my favorite moments. Um, I put in my notes. Loved, loved, loved Sprina this week. The Roman, like I feel like we're finally getting the scenes that we've been waiting for all year, where they're officially together. They're hugging on one another. They're holding each other's hands. I didn't actually hear it, but I saw on social media that I guess Spencer called her baby.
Oh, that was
Um,
last week. Yeah,
oh, it was last week. Okay,
maybe he did it
well,
again. Maybe he did it again.
yeah, but you can feel that they're actually a couple this time, and they're about to get it on bound chicka bound round on Friday, and but got interrupted by the fact that apparently the ship is landed. But it's interesting, but I like when you know Trina gets caught by Victor, you could tell how much pain and scared that Spencer was for her. And it was interesting how Victor was just like, oh, like sweet Trina and all this stuff, and yet wanting to kill her and throw it in Nick and Spencer's face. I felt that. And then I felt the scenes that they had in the cabin where she was talking about, I want to experience everything I don't know with you, and he's like, everything, and she's like, it's very cute and then sultry at the same time. They're adorable, but they're like, yay, finally together, so I'm so happy for that.
Yeah, I really love a sweet couple
Mhm.
that like also has like a sensualness and like that boils over. But when I think about like my favorite ships across time, they've always been like the sweeter ones. Like people who know me in any capacity know that I love Dawson's Creek, and like Joey and Pacey were like it for me. Like they had this like sweetness, and like it was so much about being in love, and like of course there was like chemistry there, but the chemistry was so much more about the tenderness with each other. And I think that like that is what I'm really enjoying in this kind of spring adventure that they're having with each other, because they were like writing Spencer not that way. That tenderness
Right.
wasn't happening for me. Um,
Mhm.
I was like waiting for the return of it. Even like I liked and I thought that this is where their first kiss actually should have been, because he's so tall and she's so short. I laughed when he sat down on the bed and she was like standing up and he was still taller than her. It's like, okay.
Yeah, and
Like
I'm
I
just
love
noticing, like, I like it, and I'm liking swole Spencer, man. He is buff now, and it's giving me Tyler Christopher and when Nicholas was with Robin, that kind of
Oh,
dynamic,
the
you
ship
know.
has sailed. That's right. That's right. Um,
So yeah, go
But
ahead.
I really wish that their first kiss would have been a sit down situation. I get what they were trying to do, like him being up and like going down and like her getting on her knees and all of that, and that was cute. But I think you're able to like get kind of what I like about Sabrina, which is the more intimate and tenderness. When she's like sitting with him, it's like a different angle to it. It just like is a sweetness to it that I really enjoy. So kudos to them. I thought that baby loves Nicholas.
Oh my
Like
god, that
Nicholas
baby is
Chavez.
so
He's so
sweet.
cute.
Yes.
He's so cute. But they let Trina be like feisty, like going at Victor, but then also being like really real and being like when she was alone and wasn't like with him in that way. She was like, I'm scared. So like I
Right.
appreciated the like she doesn't have to be like strong the whole time. I mean, and there
Mhm.
is a strength in like admitting that I'm scared. So I really liked
Right.
that as well.
It was beautiful.
Yeah.
And I love like when they were on the bed and he was talking about how he's like, not the ideal guy. Like he's like spoiled and brash and all this other stuff. And she was like, yeah, but that's not who I'm in crush with. Like it's
I
so much
know. I know. I was like, are we about to get out? I love you? Because I love it in danger. I love you.
more. Oh, you do.
Right.
Well, they didn't
Oh,
quite get there, but I think it's a good. I think it's understood between them, kind of like
Portia
you and.
understands it.
Oh my god! And I'm like so mad that she's being such a hater. And I thank you, Ava, for defending Spencer, like how he's changed. Because
Oh, see,
yeah,
I'm
I
the
was like,
opposite. I love her being a hater.
well, that's fine. I mean, but I don't like it.
Because here's the thing, she's not wrong. And I think that um having that interaction actually makes them like a stronger soap couple. Like you don't want to
Right.
be the couple that everyone like approves of. So I remember when like Mac didn't like Stone and Robin. Like I wasn't mad at Mac. Like he wasn't really saying anything. I mean,
Wrong.
he's a little bit more wrong, but Portia not wrong. Girl, why are you on this boat? Girl, I'm so happy you're on this boat. Like, you know what I mean? It's both of those things.
Yeah, she's not. That's not something a mom would be happy about. I can see your point,
I was
but I
kind
wish she was
of,
more on the line of had daddy who's disapproving yet understanding that it's inevitable.
I mean, it is inevitable, but like if you think about it, like as a mom, Portia has the correct energy. Girl, you followed this boy on a boat? You did what? Like every part of Portia's energy is absolutely correct. So
I guess. Yeah.
I think it wouldn't be true to her character to turn her in. I actually thought it was interesting. GH loves a rewrite of something we just saw. So just being like, Spencer's been different since he got to town because of Trina. I'm like, Ava, Spencer was stalking you when he got to town. What are you talking about? So I appreciate that they're not just like letting everyone turn into like this simp for Spencer. Like this is gonna be some ongoing conflict between Trina and her mom. And it should be. Because as a
And
mom, I
Curtis
wouldn't
too.
want as a mom, I wouldn't want my daughter with Spencer. I'm the auntie. Now I'm like, girl, go get your man. You know?
Yeah.
So,
I also loved seeing Christina on screen,
okay.
even though it was brief. And it was all about Sunny propping. I know I actually do like the dad daughter relationship that is between Sunny and Christina. And I just hope we get to see a little bit more of her. Maybe we can see scenes of her managing the nonprofit homeless bar or something. But you know, glad to see her, and I know she's here because of the wedding. Thank God she's not going to miss the wedding. Because it just seemed really crazy to me that she hasn't been involved in the Michael Willow saga.
Yeah. Do you think that her and Blonde they're gonna try to test her and Blonde Ethan?
Maybe.
Because
I
it was
hope so, because that will keep her on the scene.
it was so funny. I don't care. A recast or recast or recast. I think I thought they were gonna try to get Nathan Parsons back. Um
Mhm.
I think that maybe they recast because like his show is over. So I feel like maybe they recast because they wanted Ethan around to be around a little bit longer. Um but when they took off that hat, I was like, who is this man? Who is this?
Really blonde man. People were like, "Oh, they're trying to make it actually seem like Luke's son," but I was
Luke Callow's kid, yeah.
like, Luke's hair wasn't like that blonde.
I was, I was like, who is this man? And then I also loved when like Tracey walked in the room and Felicia was like, Tracey? I was like, Felicia, be cool. Wrong with you? Like,
I love that. Like Tracy in all white just kind of remind me of like, the whole Glinda the Good Witch from Wicked.
that hat,
The hats and
that
all of
hat
that.
was giving. I
I was
loved
like,
it.
oh right. So yeah.
What else is working for you? So we talked about
Um
Sprina, we talked about obviously Tracy's outfit, and we talked about
Dante,
Christine.
Dante works for me all the time. I thought it was hecka funny where he was just like, "No, you're not going to the wedding." He didn't know that he was getting an invite, but like Sunny was getting an invite. But I love how Dante was just like, "No,
No.
you're not going to this wedding."
I loved the little drive-by Sante moment they had.
Yes.
It's so cute. I need more. I love Sam.
Mhm.
But Dante and his little salt and pepper hair, mm, Dom is just age. His birthday just passed.
Right.
Birthday Dom. He is aging like fine wine. That man looks so good.
So fine.
Just a little Dante thirst break.
No, let's take a like. I almost feel like we should really do a break and then have a montage of photos of him.
And then come back with us like sipping
Right.
water, like, hello, we're back.
Anywho.
Like, but it was like, I give me more Sante and give it to me now. I'm tired of this. Sante should be a part of this Ice Princess storyline. Like, Sam is a freaking Cassadine. Like, what is going on?
That's
I'm
what I
so
wrote.
annoyed.
I was like, I'm happy that um, you know, Sam Sam is on the case, but I wish that she would be actually working on the Cassadine case instead of Cody, because it's part of my not working. Always, never. He never works. But yeah, I'm glad that she's gonna call out Gladys, because Gladys is acting the trip. She's back to her special ways, and the actress may be great, but Gladys is acting really bad right now.
Ridiculous. So what was working for me? I mean, like speaking of the LauraMaura scenes and like the blondes, the bringing back of history worked for me.
Mhm.
I think it's so important to like reground these characters. I ended up just logging off of it because I saw like a bunch of like Carly hate, and I was like, let me like zoom out because like maybe I saw the scenes wrong, or but I like didn't see them as a reason to hate Carly. And
Oh.
like, again, I know that I don't hate Carly, and so like maybe that's it. But I felt like even when Nina came back into the chapel, I'm like, how many times are you gonna like disrupt a father-son moment between Michael and Sonny?
Mhm.
Whatever it was, you could have waited for your purse, especially knowing how Michael feels about you.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, come on, girl. You could have done anything else in that hospital. Um, so I loved the bringing back up of Morgan. I thought it was actually really important.
Mhm.
There's like all this stuff like Carly never faces consequences. She never has anything bad happen to her. I'm
Hello.
like, what are we talking about? It was like so where had even read so I always talk about like Soap Central or whatever because I get a lot of my recaps and stuff from there, and they do this thing called Two Scoops. And so a couple of people are like, I think they kind of watch the show like we do, which is like there are characters I like and there are characters I don't like, but in a lot of ways be objective about what's happening on the show because I want the show to be good. You know what I mean? Like, um, but it was like this thing that was like fresh off of like Carly hate talking points this week in the Two Scoops, and I was like, because it was like GH has a Carly problem. I'm like,
No, they don't.
no, they don't. Like, as a matter of fact, if you look anywhere besides Twitter, they actually have a Nina problem. And I actually think allowing Nina to like lean into like being like crazy is actually what will help her character. And part of the reason they haven't is because she's with Sunny.
Mhm.
I think Maura West is Maura West, and everybody loves her, and she's a great actress, and that's part of the reason that Ava was able to be redeemed. But Ava was redeemed because she was put through the wire, and it wasn't her own making.
Mm-hmm.
With Nina, it's like the consequences that she's faced are from her own hand, and I think it was really important that Carly reminded her of that.
Mm-hmm.
I actually think that there could have been more because, like, Nina's point was like, well, Willow would have like taken his bone marrow and she would have come to me. No, she wouldn't have. We've established many, many times that Willow wouldn't have done anything until it was time to give birth to that baby.
The only reason why Willow would have come to her was just because of the biology. She wouldn't have been like, "Mom, I need you." She would have been like, "Can you just like donate some blood so I can get
Right,
you know?"
but even
Yeah.
still, Willow wouldn't have taken the bone marrow until the baby was born.
Right.
She wasn't doing anything until the baby was born.
Mhm.
So I I think that part of that is the writing of the show, and you can blame the writing. So, like, if you said to me, the writers are not allowing Carly to have a real rival, because here's the thing: when I saw the scenes with Carly and Ava, I was like, this is a rivalry.
Mhm.
This is a rivalry. With Nina and Carly, it's not. What I see is someone who's obsessed with her, who's like trying to put on her skin essentially and be her.
Mhm.
And so it's showing me that people don't really have a problem with Carly. They have a problem with or with who Carly is. They just have a problem with Carly because Nina is nothing but Carly light at this point. Her husband, her hotel, trying to have her family. When Nina was like, I've seen Avery more than you.
Oh, no, that was hecka petty.
Like, come on, get out of here. You know what I mean? Like, she was like, so I like rewatched the scenes. Like, I was like, okay, maybe let me like zoom out and look at this with like eyes that are not like a Carly fan eyes and see, because I've done that with other things. I'm like, oh yeah, no, this person was wrong or Carly was wrong in the situation. The real problem is that they have not made Carly wrong. And so if that is the feedback, if the feedback is like the writers have actually favored Carly by not allowing her to be totally wrong in the situation, then I could like understand that feedback. That is not what the feedback is from like certain
Mhm.
portions of like online fans. And I'm like, I sometimes feel like we're watching a different show. Like Carly was like, let's just not be in the same room together. And Nina was like, you told her not to invite me to the wedding.
Right.
What? Like, Nina
She
had,
didn't even know about the wedding.
and I appreciated Carly being like, listen, Nina, you have been awful to Willow this entire time. And you did not care about her. Like, even when Nina was like, I have a problem. Me and Michael have our problems. These are the same problems you actually had with Willow until you found out y'all shared DNA.
And it changed for her, but it did not change for Willow.
No, and it shouldn't have changed for like Willow has not always been searching for you. You have always been searching for her.
Mhm.
And to Carly's point, and she didn't bring up Nell when she could have, but Nina has always had the ability to get to know the women who were her daughters, and she chose to behave the way she did with them.
Mhm.
She legitimately terrorized Willow.
Right.
Even when she found out Willow had cancer, instead of like stepping back, like that's the thing. Sunny told you to step back time after time after time. And you still, before you knew Willow was your daughter, when she collapsed, you going over there trying to yell at her about, and then like blamed Michael and was like, "Oh,
Her
you're the one
medical choices.
yeah, who went under the treatment." And it's like Sunny sat there and watched all of this happen. So I think it's just like important to keep reminding and keep bringing back this whole thing. Oh, Carly kept Willow from Nina. I maintain that Nina, knowing what she thought she knew and having the relationship with Carly she did, didn't really owe Carly Sunny in Nixon Falls. She owed the rest of the family Sunny. She
Right.
owed Christina and Dante and Donna and Avery and Michael
Mhm.
Sunny and Joss Sunny
And her grandson.
and her right. Like that's who she owed Sonny to.
Mm-hmm.
Just like Carly didn't owe Nina Willow. Carly owed Willow the truth about who her parents were.
Mm-hmm.
That's what she was owed. And so, I think it's just important every time you like bring up history to like, let's bring it up. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about who is in the right and who's in the wrong. And some of the issue is that people have like created this narrative about Nina that like, as I think it's because people don't like Carly. And so they're like, oh, what she did in Nixon Falls was okay. And like because of that, like that is the way people have seen the story the whole time, as opposed to being like, no, what she did in Nixon Falls is actually really fucked up. And here's all the reasons why. And she hasn't faced any consequences aside from not being able to see Wiley since.
Right.
Like no business consequences. You know
And
what I mean?
yeah,
Just
like I still
consequences.
feel like Christina owes her a beat down.
Right, right. Like no business consequences. Like literally you picked up a whole nother business along the way. Not really any like consequences from the town. People still talk to you. The only people who don't like you are the people who are like directly related to Carly. What is the consequence here?
Mm-hmm. Oh, and Olivia doesn't like her.
Well, right. Right. So it's just like anyway. So that all of that, bringing all of that back up works for me.
Mhm.
Aside from Cody, or maybe we can talk more about Cody. What doesn't work? What's not working for you?
Okay. Oh, well, I have one more what is working.
Oh, yes, let's do it.
I'm happy that they're actually doing a story on endometriosis. I
Okay.
really feel like the world has not enough knowledge or understanding of what women go through in terms of reproductive health,
Mhm.
whether it's endometriosis, whether it's fibroids, whether it's menopause. I'm like really still upset that the medical world has no idea what's going on with menopause or why it happens or what all the symptoms
Mhm.
like, I mean, it's so like that's something that, they should have figured out along with pregnancy and labor, but they don't. So the fact that GH is working on endometriosis is great. I just don't like that Molly's the one that's experiencing it because Molly's so annoying. I can't. But I do appreciate that they're touching on this story. Um, and happy that hopefully TJ gets some more airtime too. Um, so back to what doesn't work.
Can I say something about this story though? What I hope it leads to?
Right.
So I hope that Ethan is like tested with Christina and they get together. I
Mhm.
hope that this story means that Molly can't get pregnant, but that Christina carries her baby. No, not like
Oh,
that.
yeah, okay, it's Chris
I want
Christina.
some old school Sophie shit, right? That
Yeah.
Christina carries her baby. Let's get back to these like messy soapy stories. So Ethan and Christina are together. Christina decides to carry Molly and TJ's baby, but then it ends up being like TJ and Christina's baby or something.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
like
That would be messy.
because that's what you remember. That's what happened on All My Children with Kendall.
Yeah, and
Right?
that's what happened with Maxie and Lulu.
Yeah. Well, Maxie and Lulu was like, because if it was like the same, that baby would have been Maxie and Dante's baby, and it ended up being Maxie and Spinelli's.
And Ellie's
Yeah, I
baby.
want them. Yeah. Anyway, that's what I would like to see.
Messy. Love it. Um, so back to what doesn't work. Cody never works.
Okay.
Ever.
Hmm.
Here's why. Okay. He does stupid things.
Hmm.
Okay. I see that he's trying to help Sasha, but he stupidly goes on a rant about Gladys with no proof and no explanation of why she's after him. And why? Because he's protecting himself. So that is why Sasha doesn't believe him. That's why no one's going to believe him except for Sam, for whatever. Sam didn't really believe him until she, got a whiff of Gladys in person. So, um, I hate him. And that's another reason why I don't want Sam to be working on this because Sam will exonerate him, and that don't need to happen. Gladys, like if anything else, that's why I don't want Sam on this case. Um, ugh, anyway.
Um, what is not working for me? Giving Gregory Chase ALS.
The
So
most boring character ever has the most compelling disease.
I am really close to someone who has ALS. Have been like done activism work because so his name's Adi Barkin. You should look him up if you don't know him. He has a movie called Not Going Quietly. I made an appearance in the
Mhm.
movie. You should see it. It's on Hulu. Yeah, I did a bird dog training in the movie. Um, he was always an activist, and he when he got ALS, he was diagnosed in 2016. Um, when he got ALS, he was trying to figure out what the next moves were because like it's a debilitating disease. It takes your ability to walk and stand and grip and all of this. And so right now, Adi like lives and he has two young kids. He lives on a vent. And he like does a lot of work with his eyes. And
Mm.
like eye technology where he types it and like a thing talks for him. And so the story is really important to me. ALS is really important to me. Um, and to give it to Gregory, who we don't care about, as a means to make us feel bad for the Chasemen, I hate it. If we're going to tell the story, it should be told completely and with dignity. And I cannot imagine a story being told completely about a character that we've never been compelled to care about before. Um, so again, if you care about ALS, or if you want to know more about ALS, you should look up Adi Barkin and his story. Um, he's done a lot of work around Medicare for all. He's done work around home health care. He's right now he's being kept alive on a ventilator, and so that he has to have home health care workers who support that. He has two very darling and beautiful children and a wife. And that disease and that story deserves to be that the story of that disease deserves to be told, and it deserves to be told um, with dignity, in around like in the same way they told the Alzheimer's story.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, so that is why Gregory having ALS does not work for me.
Yeah. I'm sorry they're that this is happening because it's just gonna get short shrift.
Hmm.
No one's gonna, yeah, just like you said, no one's gonna care. Isn't it like, ugh.
Yeah. But so that's a little real life stuff with the world of GH. um, and when I put this on YouTube, I will and when I post it, I'll just like link to some stuff about Adi.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Is there anything else that's not working for you, or do you want to go to some hot takes?
I don't know. This whole will they, won't they with Chase and Brooklyn.
Ugh, my
Like
God.
Brooklyn, like you did a great, I guess you did a great thing helping him get his cop business back. And then you leave. Like why? Why do you leave?
Because she probably thought he didn't want her because he's been giving these signals that she
And
ain't.
he was like, I should thank you, and was like hugging on her hecka hard until he got interrupted and was gonna go. All the signals were there as far as I was concerned for her to at least stay and let him thank her, and she left.
Yeah.
And I'm also not here for Ned hating on Valentine, which even though he's right, they do need somebody to run the damn company, but still, it seemed kind of spurious, and I don't like it. But I guess Ned is being Ned.
Here's my thing. So Ned's not wrong, but this is why you don't. This is why the ELQ should have always been in family hands, because like this is a family business. It that is why people care about it. It's more than just a job for people, and so like it completely makes sense that Valentine is checked out with like all the stuff that happened with Anna. Like that all makes sense. But if he was actually a quartermain and this was his family company, this wouldn't be the way that he would go about things. So this is why you should have never sided against Michael and Drew in the first place. Now I loved it. I thought it was funny.
And it was funny.
But it's like that's like the thing that like I can understand why something is good soapy and also understand why a character shouldn't have done it.
Mhm.
And so that's the thing with Ned, he shouldn't have ever done this. And so now like he's right. I will say this is like I have two theories. So because the one I have to make sure I shout out. So one is Tara Port Misery's theory, which is that Carly's gonna get arrested
Mhm.
um because of Nina, but
Mhm.
everybody's gonna assume it's because of Ned.
Mm.
And like her further theory is that Nina will use that time that Carly is like away to get closer to everyone, and then boom, it's gonna come out that she did this thing.
Mhm.
The other theory, which is not this, but I wanted to make sure I don't lose it, I'm on this agenda of Dex being Dante's son.
What? No.
This is my agenda. I'm on it. I'm on the agenda. I've been bought in by the Dex fans. So
No.
we need to figure out a way
No.
Jex can still be together.
Jax can still be together. I don't care, but he does
And
not.
Dex,
No. No.
and Dex doesn't have to work for Sunny anymore.
Okay. Can we find
And,
somebody else?
and the only way we
Ready?
can do that is if we get a Olivia mother like, Sunny, you shot your own son. Sonny, you shot your own grandson. So I'm
No.
on the Dex is Dante's son agenda. That
No.
is what Cody has been hiding from their time at horse camp.
That's what's Cody's hiding, the fact that Dante has another son.
Has a son, yes, and it is Dex.
Dex is kind of
I don't
old.
think that Dante knows it's Dex. I don't think that anybody knows it's Dex. But I think that it's gonna
Dante
come
knows he
out.
has a son out there.
Yes, and then we're gonna find out it's Dex. I'm on the agenda. The Dex shippers got me.
I'm like frantically in my mind trying to search for another man on GH for Dex to be a son of, and there is none. So, but you know what? That well, no, because yeah, Jocelyn isn't technically related to Dante, so it's fine.
Mhm.
That would have been hella gross,
Yeah.
like a nephew.
Yeah.
I got lipstick on my shirt. But anyway,
We're being upset about this. I love
so
it.
mad.
The other thing that annoyed me, I mean, like he always annoys me, is Sunny. So here's the thing about Sunny that is so interesting. Sunny is not supposed to know any of the stuff that Michael is doing against him. So
Mm.
his hostility and weirdness towards Michael shouldn't be there.
Except for the fact that Michael is keeping his the love of his current love of his life out of, you know.
Whatever. But like Sunny, he's just like, do you want me there? Does Willow want me there? Bro, are you going or not?
Great, just be grateful you got invited.
This is like a step. Michael's fiance is dying. He does not need to be interrogated by you about some bullshit.
Uh-huh.
Whatever, Sunny. Um, they literally trot Amy out to just be annoying.
Oh my god, yes. She was annoying. That was another thing that didn't work. Like, you shouldn't be with Ava. I'm like, what the hell? Girl, sit down. Mind your own busybody business. She ain't got none. That's why she's all up in everybody else's business. She
Period.
just
And then the last thing I have on my notes, which was sparse this week, um, the whole like locker situation for Drew, and then like he was a Virgo. What? What the fuck are y'all talking about?
honestly, I fast forwarded those scenes because I just not, and that's one thing that's not working for me again. Drew and Curtis, they're not working for
Oh,
me.
they're
Curtis,
not a combo together. They're
right?
not the ones.
Curtis, trying to be all, I'm gonna save the day for Trina. No, you're not. Sit down. You need to figure out your illegal business with Ms. Wu and sit down and get over being lied to and actually realize that you're the liar out here and you need to reconcile that.
So here's the thing.
And cheating on Portia, almost kissing Jordan. He don't know what he want.
Trash. So what you missed was they basically went to a storage locker and Drew said, "Oh, this is Kim, Oscar's mom, got the storage locker to like put his things up in case he ever came home." And I don't know if they meant came home from the Navy SEAL or came home from the plane crash, but either way, that don't make no sense
Right.
because Kim had always said all she had from Drew was like some little something she had given Oscar. Certainly was not enough to fill up a room.
Right.
But then when Drew got into a plane crash, he wasn't presumed missing, he was presumed dead. So there was no reason. So they made it seem like Kim and Drew had some like conversation off screen that they then like that led him to this locker. And so he found like a baseball hat of Oscars and he was like sad over Oscar and whatever. And they talked about like having kids that they didn't know or whatever. And then they found something that was like a map with a symbol of Virgo on it. Cause something it was just really fucking dumb. I didn't have any idea what was going on and I watched the scenes twice. Um, like I was like, what is happening? And what I'm also finding is that there are too many people doing too many different things. So like they're like acting like Nina's acting like Sonny getting Diane to be this man's lawyer is some kind of like big mob trade secret.
Right. She's like, now I'm in it because I forced you to do something. I'm like,
This
you
is
are
not.
not. This is not giving mob wife, ma'am.
It's absolutely not. And
Mhm.
so, but it was like, so that's happening over there, and then you got Drew and Curtis doing something different, and nobody all knows every story. Go find my niece. Go find my niece.
Like, who's doing, like, this is reminiscent of the trial where everybody's doing something different and no one's doing what needs to be done to actually get the answer and free Trina.
Right. Yeah. I didn't like it. I was not a fan. It was
Yeah. All if Frank, text us because the only person that needs to be on this case is Sante. Get them onto the scene and they will find Spencer and Trina.
yeah. And then let Anna recover from getting shot and let them like join them.
Yeah, a couple's
Is
crusade.
right. Sante and Vanna go get Sprina.
Text us, Frank. Text us. Hop into my DM.
Don't DM me, Frank. But is there anything else you have before we preview the week ahead?
I'm trying to see what my hot take was. Um, Three blonde. I'm tired of Curtis. Scenes are
Yep, yep.
powerful. Yeah, that was it. I didn't have a lot of hot takes except for yeah, I'm tired of Curtis in caps.
And no more Curtis and Drew scenes. My lord, do not let them two men together. That was awful. Also, don't let Robert and Sunny be in just scenes with the two of them either, because that was.
Like that was just a scene where somebody has to be mad at Sunny for some reason. Let it be Robert.
I'm so tired of the Sunny propping. I really am. I'm really tired of the Sunny propping. But the Sunny only exists to be propped. Ugh. Anyway. All right. Next week, Monday. Curtis, Drew, and Laura share their findings. So I guess they will be on the same page for Trina.
Mm-hmm.
Carly says goodbye. Don't know what that's about. Ned is preoccupied. Olivia and Brooklyn are amazed. Felicia is concerned.
She's like, where'd that $10 million at?
Tuesday, Robert and Diane are interrupted. So if you looked at the last soap opera digest, you find out that Robert and Diane are interrupted by Holly. Diane is not happy about it. Holly does not care because she's like, "Who you?" Um, Holly's like, "I'm already second fiddle to Anna. You can be third fiddle." Anyway, um, so Alexis shares a message. Sunny has mixed feelings. Willow gets bad news. Nina puts on a happy face.
Put on a happy face.
Oh, oh. Wednesday, Chase and Dante offer support. Maybe they find out about Dex being Dante's son. Just kidding. Carly hides her worry.
They're probably best men.
Holly shares what she's learned.
Mm-hmm.
Victor relishes his triumph. Willow prepares to walk down the aisle. Thursday. My God, finally, it's Michael and Willow's wedding day. Ava doesn't mince words. Dante plays peacemaker. Nina makes a big move. Brooklyn and Ned navigate some tricky dynamics. Finally, on Friday, Michael makes an accusation. Dex must be discreet. Sunny offers assistance. Holly makes a startling discovery. Victor has unwelcome guests. So here we are.
I heard a rumor that Helena's going to be on the show.
I heard this too. So I don't know if she's actually going to be there or if they're going to have somebody finish playing the tape that Laura turned off at Luke's funeral.
No, I need Elena to be alive.
I want her to be there.
Yeah, I want her to be there.
I'm
And then
telling
I want her to have Tyler Christopher.
yes. Yes.
And just be like, actually, this is the real Nicholas.
The real Nicholas. I don't know who this other man was. I would live for it.
I would live. That would be the best sweep. I would be so swept, even if I'm predicting it. I would be so swept.
I would cry. You know that one gif of the person like they're like crying as like the confetti is coming down? That would be me.
I would be like so happy.
Ugh, so happy.
Text us, Frank.
We got the things. I mean, there is gonna be, I mean, you know, if we have a writer's strike and they can't get down with it, Chat GPT might be writing GH. So
Oh God. Well, I hope Chat GPT understands that we want Tyler Christopher back. So happy.
Also Emmy noms come out on a Wednesday. So you know next week Sunday, we will go through who was nominated, like we did last year.
All right. Exciting. Are we gonna have a special guest? Is it me and you? Ooh, baby.
We'll see.
Don't worry about Tracey. Don't worry about. Go.
All right. So this is us being Luffy, probably. Yeah. Anyway, thanks for listening again. We will see you next week.
Bye.